More on that shortly, and of course more of your calls on 0344 499 1000. And feeding into this, weekly COVID testing for everyone is set to be piloted in the hope that it can get the country back to a more normal way of life. This would see offices, we're talking about the shops, schools, train stations offering on-the-spot tests as part of a £500 million trial aimed at restoring activity into Britain's ghost towns. The trials will first be offered in parts of the northwest, where there are high levels of the virus, and in a number of schools in the south. If successful, schemes could be rolled out across the country, with businesses expected to contribute towards the costs. Let's speak to Dean Russell, Conservative MP for Watford, who sits on the Health and Social Care Committee. Dean Russell, afternoon to you. I don't want to sound too cynical about this, but I've got almost test fatigue, Dean. I keep reading stories about different types of tests and different access to tests and different elements of different types of tests for different people almost on a daily basis. So is this one a game changer? Should I take this seriously?
I think take all of them seriously. And first of all, thank you for having me on your show. I love listening in. It's a pleasure to be on it. I would say, every single time there's news about new tests, rollout of new tests, trials of new tests, it's important to rejoice over that and take in what's been an awful time for everyone with the COVID crisis and this. I won't say unprecedented. I'll say unparalleled or unequaled.
There you go. There's two more.
But it's been a tough time for many people, and I think testing is the light, or one of the lights at the end of the tunnel. And I think the fact that we've gone from something like 2,000 tests a day to 300,000 tests per day in a matter of months is good news.
Isn't the problem with testing that it will only tell you if you have COVID-19 that day?
Well, I think that's part of the point of this, is that we're constantly looking for the holy grail of testing and tests. And as we go forward, especially with these rapid tests, if that's the case and we can roll them out at the right level and we can do them on a regular basis, that won't be so much of an issue. But constantly, I know the scientists are looking at how we can improve the tests, how we can make them so that you can test at different parts of the cycle. But I think the news today around this 500 million trial for the new technologies is really welcome.
Isn't the problem, though, just to go back to that point, Dean, that I mean, you could have 500 people working in an office. We test all 500 people on Monday and they're all negative. Fantastic. They can all go back to work the next day into that office, and social distancing might even change as a result. But of course, if one of them catches COVID-19 on the way into work, then the whole, like a house of cards, the whole thing comes tumbling down. So what do we gain?
Yes and no. I mean, the yes bit is, of course, even after having a test, you still need to be vigilant. And the 2 meter rule or the 1 meter plus rule is so key in that. But I think the point of the rapid test, it means you can get the result much quicker, but also you can identify whether you should change your lifestyle or isolate or whatever the situation may be in the area that you're in very quickly. And so that minimizes the risk of infecting more people. And a lot of this really is about how many people one person can infect with the virus. So if we can limit that helps get that R number down that we talk about regularly, and it also limits the spread of it. And as we limit the spread of it, that stops more people getting it. That means people can go back to a more normal life again.
Is a test that tells you whether you've had it more useful, though?
I think every type of test at the moment is critical. If you know that you've had it, then you may have antibodies. The catch with that, though, is that we don't fully know yet whether having antibodies will totally stop you from getting COVID again. So I think that the point I often make to people is that until you perhaps have a cure or a vaccine, the reality is it's still key to be absolutely vigilant, whether you've had it once or whether you've had it and you don't know, or whether you don't know that you haven't had it. It's key to still make sure you're not risking spreading it to others or catching it yourself.
This £500 million trial, I mean, we're talking about trials in the northwest to begin with, and some trials in schools as well. Is there any timescale, Dean Russell, on when this might be rolled out, where I know for a fact I can walk out of here, go to a street corner, and there's somebody there with a big wheelbarrow full of test kits?
Well, I think the key thing for us really has been to make sure that the test kits work, that they're effective, that they can be made on scale and still be accurate for every single individual test. So in terms of timescales, like any of these things, so normally clinical trials, I've done a lot of work in this space in the past, can take months or years. We're doing this at a much faster pace than probably, again, unprecedented, perhaps unmatched in this instance than ever before. So I think it'd be hard to say, within 2 months or 3 months or within a period of time, they'll be fully rolled out. But I think the tests are being rolled out in a way that's done as quickly as possible, but as safe as possible, and to get the most accurate results so that then we can look to see how we can roll that out more broadly.
Okay, Dean, thank you. Dean Russell, Conservative MP for Watford, also sits on the Health and Social Care Committee with us here on Talk.